What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton. Hey, want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, morning show edition. You know what? I think we got some nice news for the Detroit Lions. If you paid attention to NFL scores, you saw the next step forward in perhaps one of the bigger collapses in NFL history. The Philadelphia Eagles, what do? They seem to lose playoff games, or I should just say regular season games that could affect the playoffs. 22-19. We're going to talk about what this means for the Detroit Lions and the playoff push. We're going to talk about also Lions made a couple additions yesterday, a couple of key moves. Also, there could be another diamond in the rough in the Detroit Lions draft that could be emerging before our very eyes. I thought Dan Campbell in the press conference yesterday was very coy about addressing this, but it does seem like Lions coaching staff, I guess you can say reporters, whoever you want to say, says the same thing about this diamond potentially in the rough for the Lions. We'll get into that during the main top of the day. I'm not 100% sure if Anthony from Roar Lions UK is going to join us halfway through the show. I believe he's going to, but I don't know that. We'll see how that shakes out. We also got 5 glorious headlines for you this morning. We'll get into that momentarily before we get into all the above. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 78 subs away from hitting 15,800 subscribers. If you can assist with that, if you can help out, that would be great of you. Also, while you're hitting that button, if you can hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 more thumbs up or likes. Finally, but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States of America, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. Have a quick conversation, what we can do to save you time, hassle, money, all the whole shebang and bang. Go from there. All right, all that monologue all the way. Let's get this show rocking, rolling, moving on forward, and hitting off with 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines. Let's get into it. Then here's the big one. The first of the moves, the headline that you saw in the thumbnail today. Lions sign 17 interception, former Browns safety after Brian Branch injury. This comes from our friends over at NBC Sports. In case you didn't notice it yesterday, Lions did make some move getting veteran safety Damontae Kazee. Most recently with the Browns. He's played with the Cowboys. He signed with a lot of different people over the years. He's played, I want to say, with the Denver Broncos. He's 32. He's played in 111 NFL games starting back to 2017. Most recently, like I said, with the Browns amongst other teams. He's played, he was drafted, I would say, from the Atlanta Falcons in 2017, and he played with them until 2020. Since then, he split time between the Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland, and a couple others. He's going to give the Lions a lot of flexibility at the safety spot. Why do I like him? Because you can move him around, sort of like Kirby Joseph, sort of like Brian Branch. He's flexible. He can play in the slot. He can play out wide, single high. He can play dual high safety. You can play him close to the line of scrimmage. He is perhaps not the biggest safety in the world. He's roughly 6 foot tall, but you know what? He's got experience. He just brings a whole lot to the table, and that's probably a good thing when you look at the Lions secondary. They've got some playmakers back there, in my opinion, but they're younger, undeveloped guys. This is a good person to have, another coach on the sideline, basically for you with Kazee. Where will he? When will he take the field for the Detroit Lions? My opinion, it's probably going to be sooner versus later. We talked last week about Lawrence Strickland maybe getting elevated and offering some assistance there. He is sort of, I hate to use this term, but he's sort of, in my opinion, a poor man's Brian Branch. We'll see what he does, but the Lions added a veteran who, you know what? He knows how to get to the football. He knows how to play multiple roles. What does Dan Campbell want out of every player, offensively or defensively? Somebody that can be a Swiss Army knife and assist in multiple different facets of the game. All right, moving on to the next of the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions plan to return Christian Mahogany to practice squad this week. SB Nation story by Jeremy Risman. MCDC's presser yesterday, he did talk about this a little bit. You also heard him talk about it the week prior. Mahogany's getting pretty dang healthy. Will he resume his starting left guard spot for the Detroit Lions? I don't know in a quick answer. But what we do know is it gives the Lions a whole lot more depth at the offensive line once he's back on the field. I liked him last year. I liked him this year. I know there are some that would say last year he was great. This year he's been meh. Everybody's going to have their own opinions. Two people can look at the same thing and have different opinions. I like the way he was playing. Now, one of the questions out there is going to be, is he or Miles Frazier going to have that spot? It'll be the nice thing is both guys are going to want the spot. They'll push each other in practice, ultimately probably make each other better. And I think the Lions' future at the offensive line, while we had a spot there during the season where obviously the offensive line was not performing at a high pace, start looking across. You have Ratledge. You have Penei Sewell. You have Frazier. You have Christian Mahogany. You know what? The future for the offensive line is starting to look pretty dang decent. I don't know what's going to happen with Giovanni Manu. My thought at this particular moment in time is he's going to stay on the IR the rest of the season. Don't know that for sure. But the Lions' future of the offensive line, maybe it's not as egregiously bad as we once upon a time thought. And they can address it either in free agency or the draft next year. We'll have to pay attention to that once we get through this particular season. All right, next one up for you. Detroit Lions have a pretty concerning California problem. This comes from our friend Mike Payton over at A to Z Sports. What is he talking about when it comes to this? Let this sink in. Since 1985, Detroit Lions are 5-22 in the state of California. Is there a curse of Bobby Lane, or I don't know, man, somebody else from California? It's possible, but the Lions haven't performed there, whether facing the Chargers, the Rams, in San Diego, the San Francisco, whatever you want to say, over the last several years, over the last 40 years, it hasn't gone ultimately well for them. Last time the Lions faced the Rams in LA, you guys know this was the first year with this regime. They were not a great team, and they put up a pretty good fight. It wasn't until really about 6 minutes left in that game that the Rams finally broke away from the Detroit Lions. And I'm guessing if you were Matt Stafford looking over there, you were probably not happy about what you saw going on in front of you. All right, next one up. What 14 different analysis think of Detroit's playoff odds? Yahoo Sports are with this one. All right, so let's break this one down. This is part 1 of this list. Let's see, ESPN. Let's see, we've got ESPN on this one. We've got 97.1 the ticket, and I'll just summarize. You got MLive and about 40 other people talking about it. In a nutshell, it seems that everybody agrees the Lions will have an opportunity to make the playoffs. When you break down each of the teams in front of them, plus who everybody else is facing, they are going to give the Lions, as a totality, between these 14 different analysis, about a 70% chance to make the playoffs. I think we all agree. If the Lions win the final 4 games, they will be in the playoffs. It's, I think an unavoidable conclusion with that. That being said, now, if you look at some of the other teams that are struggling right now, like we started off the show talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, there's no doubt about it. The Eagles are a mess right now offensively. And talking about a coach under some pressure, their OC is facing all sorts of scrutiny. They're just not scoring points. They got some talent. You guys get it. I'm not going to worry about the Eagles because it's the Lions podcast. That also being said, the Lions are going to face the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, a week ago at this time, they were the number 1 seed in the NFC. Now they're number 7. And yes, they've got a tough road ahead. You can look at the Lions. You can look at them playing the Packs again. You can look at them facing the Cleveland Browns. None of these games are walkover games that they can easily skate in. You also look at the Eagles now just 1 game ahead of Detroit Lions because of the tiebreaker. Could they fall out? Well, in order for that to happen, the Cowboys would have to catch on up. The final month of the season is going to be a race to the finish line, and according to these 14 different analysis, I can't even talk this morning, man. I'm tired. We had a game last night, so I didn't get to bed till really late. Anyways, analysis of these different individuals, Lions have about a 70% chance to make the playoffs. All right, we're talking about playoffs. I'm going to bring this up on the screen for you. Let me share a screen. Let me bring this up, all right, playoff picture. Just because, let's face it, why are you doing this? Why are you challenging yourself in these final 4 games? Well, let's look at the screen right here. Pay attention to the right side of the screen. The Rams, as you know, are currently the number 1 team in the NFC. Lions get a win here. They're going to boost their chances to get in exponentially. The Packers, hey, they've got a bit of a struggle down the stretch for their remaining games. You get it. If you look on the screen, if you can see it big enough, they have a 94% chance to make the playoffs. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go. All right. The Eagles, they're turning and burning. We saw this a couple seasons ago. They just can't get out of their own way. I think that's what we can all agree on with that. It's unfortunate for them, but it could be good for the Lions down the stretch. Another team that's struggling a bit lately, the Buccaneers. We talked about this lightly yesterday. Why do the Buccaneers' struggles in the South Division impact the Lions? Well, if they fall out of the number 1 seed for their division, they become a wild card consideration. The Lions, if they should finish tied with them for, say, the final spot, the Lions have the tiebreaker over them, so that's a big deal for Detroit. Seahawks have a 98% chance to make the playoffs. They're the number 5 seed. 49ers have a 90% chance, and then the Bears a 66% chance. What a drop from number 1 to number 7. And yes, the Detroit Lions, a whole lot of people have come down on this team and this organization in the last several weeks. But you know what? They're at 8-5 and very comparable to everybody else who's in the top 7. In your opinion, do the Lions make the playoffs? My personal opinion, the answer is yes. All right, moving on from that, we're going to go over to the main top of the day and see what you guys have to say about a couple of moves and things MCDC kind of alluded to lightly in yesterday's presser. 1, 2, 3, let's get into the main topic of the day. All right, so we already mentioned the first one up here, and that's the new safety for the Detroit Lions. What are your guys' thoughts on him? Now, I told you about all the interceptions he's had, the size he has. He does still have some speed. He's not the youngest guy. I get that. But you know what? He makes plays when he's out there. Is he going to be the biggest impact on the Detroit Lions D? Maybe not, but he gives you a veteran presence that, again, can play multiple different roles with his team. Could even play some special teams, although I'm going to guess they're going to ask him not to do that. Key signed with the Lions per NFL Network. That's the first one reported, and I didn't have time because of my own coaching duties yesterday to get that over to you. The other one, this is the one I think becomes a little bit more prevalent. Did Brad Holmes really hit a home run with the drafting of Miles Frazier? You all know this guy had a 2nd-round grade. Some had a 3rd-round grade on him going into the draft, but then there were reports about his knee injury. Lions drafted him anyways, later part of the draft. Allowed them time to have that thing cleaned up and rehabilitated, sort of like they did with Jameson Williams. And you know what? It seems that the Lions might have hit a home run because of it. When we talk about Brad Holmes, we all understand he likes to draft injured players, but sometimes he does get value by doing so. Your opinion does not need to be my opinion, but what say you with Miles Frazier? It's 1 game in, so I don't want to make it sound like, hey, it's all good from here, but what we can see here is that we see a guy that's got a ton of upside if the Lions can tap into it. Also, the offensive line, you know, it's another young body coming at you. How this is also with some of these signings and a couple other moves impacting the practice squad. You see the Lions practice squad, man, it is dang deep. You got Jackson Meeks, Miles Adams, Zach Horton, Hurtahu, Mason Miller. And, you know, you guys can read through the list. I don't need to bore you to death. They did, just so you know, release one of their wide receivers, Andrews, yesterday to make room for a couple other people coming back. And let me see if I can get this scroller off the bottom of your screen just so you can see the full thing. And then, yes, bottom of the list, big reveal, Patty O'Connor is back with the team. And I think that's another big piece for the Lions if we do make a big, strong push into the playoffs going forward. Pat O'Connor, you know, he can play defensive end. He can play pass rush in the interior. That's a nice piece to have coming off the bench if you're Kelvin Shepard looking for more pass rush. We all watched it with our own eyes last year. Pat O'Connor, what's he do? He puts pressure on the other team's quarterback. He does have some wheels and some bursts. That also being said, we got more news for you guys. Practice squad update. Let me bring it on over to you. That's the wrong one. Hold on a second. Practice squad up. Okay, if I can get this thing to load. Hold on. You got to love loading these things live on air. All right, there we go. All right, maybe not. All right, let me try it again. All right, there we go. Then there's where the official announcements are. So, again, we talk about Brad Holmes wanting to sign injured players, draft injured players, trying to get extreme value. What's your opinion on some of his moves he's made so far with the team? When you look at Miles Frazier, do you think he could be something for us? Do you think he's not going to be anything for us? There's nothing wrong with your opinion. Just go ahead and share it in the comments section. One other thing I want to bring over to you guys, just because we talk about different aspects going into this game, we all know this is going to be Goff Stafford Bowl 97 for the team. Because of that, let's revisit real quick and get your huge opinions, if you would, on this, if we can get it on the screen. This is going to be revisiting that particular trade, and it's been 5 years, so I get it. Lions got Goff. I'm going to guess that's going to be considered a win for the organization because he got him for basically nothing. Jameson Williams, now that you see him really starting to emerge as a playmaker, what can you say about how that has impacted the trade? Gibbs was a part of this trade. I think we all can at least somewhat agree, while we may not fully agree, Gibbs is either, in your opinion, a top 5 running back in the NFL or the greatest running back in the NFL. Come to your own devices. You got Sam I Am Laporta out of it. Not going to say he's the greatest tight end in the NFL, but I do think he's in the top 5 when he's healthy. Josh Pascal, I'm not throwing this kid any shade because I think what's derailed his career somewhat is beyond anybody's control. You guys all get it with some of the health stuff. I know they may not come out and say that directly. That is my anticipation of it, though. Ife Melifonwu, fine player for the Lions when he was here, but just going to stay healthy. Broderick Martin's probably the one big swing of the bat and a miss on this list, though. And you got all that for one guy. He's 38 and still playing at MVP level at Matt Stafford. But you guys know when the screens go on for that game, everybody and their mother is going to be talking about this particular trade once again. I know I'm tired of it. I know you guys are tired of it. But you look at what Brad Holmes did with that trade, you could argue it really turned the franchise around. Miles Frazier, in my opinion, I think he's probably going to be, if he's not going to be the starter this week, I think he's going to be real quick to come off that bench if somebody else struggles like a Colleen or whatever. All right, you guys heard me ramble about all these different things, but what do you think of the addition of Pat O'Connor back with the team? What do you think about the safety coming on in? And then, yes, the Lions did have to let, as it says up on here, Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver, gone from the practice squad. Some big moves made, some nice additions. I do like Pat O'Connor. I think most of you do, but I can't speak for everybody. And I do think he is a flexible player, outside, inside, etc. All right, we'll see if Anthony joins us in about 10 to 12 minutes. Until then, let's go over the Duke Crew and see what you guys have to say. And again, I'm running on fumes. I didn't get much more sleep last night, so apologies if I'm not at my best today. I'm trying to do what I can. All right, Michael, greetings and salutations, Coach Stan and Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride, woo, and there you go, back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Deep impact heading in for shores of LA, exclamation point, woo, I concur. I like where we're going into this game. It's going to be a shootout. I don't think that's even a question, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe both teams just can't move the ball, something odd happens. I think we all can expect the Lions to be able to move the ball on the Rams vice versa. It's probably going to come down to 1 or 2 plays. Can Shep and his defense do enough to cause 1 or 2 tip passes, 1 or 2 turnovers? You get that? I like the Lions' chances a whole lot more. Hassan Malley, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew team. Back at you. Good afternoon in Cairo. Johnny L., good morning, folks. And same to you. Hookadoo. Bo, the Lions are going to play Asteroids on SoFi Stadium. Oh, yeah. Hey, I used to love that game back in the day. Bo, last night, the Chargers might have done us a solid. That interception in overtime was a thing of beauty. Never give up, never surrender, exclamation point. I agree with that. Here, I'll talk about my own coaching stuff. We graduated some big pieces from the team I coached. We've got a ton of great kids having to assume new roles. We played a tough game last night. We didn't win, but I told them all I loved it because they're learning to take on those new roles. To your point, Bo, the Chargers, I think, are learning how to play football, at a different level. I think they're really ascending. I think the Eagles, though, they're getting in their own way a lot. Why I bring up my team, I think, there's a lot of parallels between what that game was and basically what we're going through. I like where we're going. I like where the Lions are going. Moving on from there. Bo, Space Invaders, I love that game too. Marcus, good morning. Duke Crew and all the Couch Potatoes GMs who were mad we didn't trade for Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, that's the other side of it. When you make a trade, there's no guarantees that person's going to pan out. To your point, Marcus, let's just say we would have gave up a couple second-round picks, third-round picks, or whatever, because we all listen to the fans, right? Well, I would be feeling about that today. Hasse Madley, good morning, my friends, and all fans watching Lions Talk Live. Back at you, Miles Marker. Greetings, salutations, everyone. Same to you. Johnny, what was the final scoreboard? I want to say it was 22-19, but don't hold me to that. Something like that. Look at it, Mr. Hassanin, the man, the myth, the father of Ahmed Hassanin. Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, sir. And back at you both. Chargers, yeah, 22-19. Big win for them. Johnny, thank you. Conan, does Philly make another late season collapse? So far, it's looking like it. But I don't know off the top of my noggin the rest of their schedule, but it's looking like it. Hassanin, good morning, my dear friend, Mr. Hookadoo. Hookadoo. Miles Martin and Johnny L., the Grit brothers. I would agree with that. Woo! Till the Hun, Eagles haven't won since Detroit destroyed the tush push. Man, that's a great point, Attila Hun. The Lions, they came up with something that worked. Now, they've got the beef to really impact a lot of teams that want to do that. Man, if the Lions could have just got that win, though, right? Let's see. Henry Moore, good morning. Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Bo, Howie Roseman, genius, is shining right now, right? That will be the big thing. If they collapse, miss the playoffs, and they made those trades, a lot of people that were on that bandwagon from Detroit are probably going to be staring at each other saying, hey, I never said that. Henry, the man, I would say Henry, the man, more grit morning. I'll go with that. Johnny L, not looking too good for the Eagles. Hey, it is what it is. Trim River, good morning, Coach Dan and the world-renowned Duke Crew. Let's go, Lions. Woo! With some exclamation points. And any more, top of the morning, Hookadoo, Bo, Attila, and Mr. Hassanin. 5 fingers ready to Attila Hun. I'm glad I am not the only one who noticed that. No, you're probably not the only one. It's Hey Henry Moore, Johnny L, good morning. Miles Marker, howdy, Hookadoo. Henry Moore, good morning. Miles Marker. Johnny, good morning to you, Henry. Hookadoo. Silver, I see the Lions making some great waves. Hang 10. Hey, y'all like that. Hanging out on the beaches for sure. And think about this. Lions, I think, I have a real good shot at winning 11 games. If they can win out 12 games, where do you guys think that puts them in the playoff push? Let me know your thoughts. Riley O'Brien, good morning, all. Exclamation point. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Finally, a day off from everything. Not sure what to do with my kids. To do with my time. Kids are going to be in school, and maybe I'll take a nap. Enjoy your nap. Hey, thanks for coming out for the game last night. It was good to see you. Server, good morning, Mary Hookadoo, Mr. Hassanin, James, Dre, Carrie, Bo, Johnny L, Henry, and am I leaving anyone out? All the above. How about that? Henry Moore, good morning, Stephanie. Attila, love how MCDC skirted around the Frazier starting question. That means he is, but it won't want to help the Rams coaching staff. No, and I will say this. Having an opportunity to replay the game a little bit, watch it, you can tell the Lions shifted some help his way. You could also see where that power and his footwork, came through a lot. There's a whole lot to that kid. I don't know how great he's going to be. I mean, wait and see over his career, but I do think him and Chris Mahogany give the Lions some flexibility. Whether or not any of them can play guard in the future or tackle in the future, you will wait and see their development. Hookadoo, Stephanie is taking a nap, I'm guessing. Until then, you always leave me out, Surfer. Hey, let's hope he doesn't. Johnny, what's good? What's the good word? Silver. Sleep, Stephanie. Dream world is wonderful. Nothing wrong with that. Jessica, good morning, Duke Crew. Same to you. James Allen, what do you got? Good morning, Dan Duke Crew. How's everybody doing today? Question mark. How are you doing today? I know you were fighting the cold and everything else the last couple weeks. Hopefully you're doing better. Mo, stay inside and warm 70. It's a cold Clipper wind out there. Man, I know it was last night. Any more? Good morning, Silver, Jessica, and Jimmy. Excuse me. Silver. Forgive me, Attila. Good morning with an exclamation point, a smile, and a thumbs up. Johnny, good morning to you all. Hasse Malik. Good morning, Stephanie. Henry Moore, Johnny L, Silver, Big Eddie, Cynthia, Attila, and Hurt. Wish you all a good day. Back at you, Tori. Think we'll end up being the number 7 seed? That is possible, I think. Look at it. I have a dream, Silver, the Lions winning the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Maybe 6. Ooh, can we jump that high? Jimmy, what do you got? We're about to get hit with some snow over in southeast Michigan. Please be careful out there. You have to go to work in it. Yeah, I know some areas are going to get hit pretty hard this week. Bo, I believe we beat the Rams and went out. The rest will work itself out. Well said. Start Frazier, says Steve Rogers. Any more? Great to see your face this morning, Tori. Johnny L., what's going on, Jimmy? Hookadoo. Great to stay in, James, and watch Lions Talk Live. Hey, stay warm, my friends. Bo, we have our super secret assignment, Assassin TK85. Well, the next major one. You know, the more you watch him play and perform at a high level, I'm often surprised he hasn't been elevated before. Any more? Good morning, MCDC. How's the world of Lions football? If you are sitting where I am proud of our guys for stepping up when need be. We got these Rams. Love old Matt, but it's our time now. Go Lions. Exclamation point. Lions get this win. That would be massive and change a lot of the seeding exponentially. Let's see, Johnny L., who's in the picture? You got Miles Frazier and the new safety that was signed yesterday. So there you go. 7-7 coach, follow this. Detroit beat LA twice. A third time unlikely. And if you see them in the playoffs, you'd have beaten them 4 times straight. So Lions lose this, then win out and beat LA in the playoffs. What do you say? I'd just say win the game in front of you. It's just not me to say, hey, I don't go with any kind of Rubik's Cube theories that, you know, if I move here, move there, maybe win here, lose there, that it helps you out. I just say beat down the person in front of you. Any more? Absolutely, Henry Jr. Let's see, Jimmy. Can't wait to hear what Dan Damas has to say about our Detroit Lions. Hey, that'll be coming up here. Henry Moore. Oh, and good morning to you, Dad. Henry Moore. There you go. Hustling Manly. Detroit will play with the beer, and the beer will play Green Bay. If we will win and Bears lose, we will have bigger chance in playoffs. We'll see. All will be revealed in time. Server, Hookadoo. Yes, indeed. Exclamation point. Yes, indeed. I got that feeling in me. Yes, indeed. Go Lions. Go Lions, indeed. Let's see, Jess. If Frazier and Mahogany can stabilize the offensive line, that opens up a lot more deep shots for Goff and the offense. To your point, think about last week. That's the most deep shots we've really had in the game, maybe since when we played the Bears early in the season. The Lions got to the point, and clearly the coaching staff, Goff, the wide receivers, offensive line, they just felt comfortable. And you could see more and more deeper shots, you know, past 10, 15 yards down the field. So you're right. If you can get into that rhythm here, these final 4 games of the regular season, you could really open up the playbook for the Detroit Lions. All right, Anthony, win the Rams. Must indeed. Barry Smith, good morning. Duke Crew, happy blessed Tuesday. How is everyone feeling this morning? We'll find out. Johnny is talking about 5 headlines now. It were pretty good 5 headlines today. Bo, I like that idea, Motley. Play with the beer. Exclamation point. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Spell check gets us all. You're not wrong. Henry Moore, good morning, Mary. Big Eddie, if we can run the ball on the Rams, that is going to be a huge plus. Panthers seemed to do it. They did. And, you know, just like when the Minnesota Vikings, the Cleveland Browns, whoever else, kind of exposed some of our interior offensive line issues, same thing's true with the Rams. You're seeing teams try to attack that middle. Now, some of the teams I don't think were very well built to do that. I think the Detroit Lions might be, though. Good morning, Queen Mary. Jimmy. Hey, Mr. Hosling, when will you see your son debut in a live game? Got to be coming up maybe this year or next year. Ezra Gray, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. And back at you, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you on the show, even though I know we can't get you all the time. Johnny L., good morning, Queen Mary. Silver Surfer, Mary, feeling good, looking for better. Nothing wrong with that. Dave, can we get to Stafford? Question mark. If we don't, I can't see our D stop him. It's going to be, I think, a bit of a shootout and a challenge for both teams. Hopefully it is as much for the Rams as it is for the Lions. Dell, good morning, everyone. With Philly losing, we have a few more scenarios to make the playoffs. Let's go, Lions. Let's keep them losing. Bo, feeling all right? Feeling pretty good. Myself, feeling all right. Yes, indeed. Jimmy, good morning, Queen Mary. Let's see, Just Lynn. Greetings, salutations, Duke. Shep best unleash the blitz a whole game. I think he's going to use it. You saw it a ton last week. I think you're going to see it basically sort of like last year and the year before that, where Aaron Glenn just said, hey, to get stable pressure, we got to blitz all the time. And I think the Lions are going to have to do that down the stretch here. Queen Mary, good morning, Hookadoo, Henry, Silver, Johnny L. Johnny L is waving. Trade Tipson, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Cynthia, good morning, everyone. Queen Mary, good morning, James Bo. Let's see, Bo. Dave Bling, we find a way? Yes, we will. Johnny L, what's good, Trey? Queen Mary, good morning, Cynthia. Lions Talk Live fan. In the wild, Lions eat Rams. Yes, they do. How about that? Jimmy, good morning, Cynthia. Cynthia, good morning, everyone. Have a great day. Exclamation point back at you. Good morning, Mary. Bo, Queen Mary, lead us not to temptation, for the lions shall feast on the lambs. Hey, who doesn't like some lamb, especially with some hot sauce on it? Hassanin Manley, Mr. Jimmy, my son, Ahmed Hassanin, healthy and hungry, getting a lot of reps. It's all about his coaches. Correct. He'll get his chance for sure. Silver, then say LA, best team in the NFL. I wrote better lose this and beat them in the playoffs, but the Lions win this one, then I definitely don't want to see LA in the postseason. Let others beat them before. We'll see if that can shake out for us. Cynthia, good morning, Jimmy. Exclamation point, Henry Moore. Hey, Cynthia, glad your move went well. I concur. Queen Mary, thumbs up, agreed. Bo, Drake, I'd like to see Ahmed Hassanin come up and add another person to the pass rush rotation. He would add some speed. Now, where is he in the development? Only the coaches can ask that because I haven't heard anything about him. Maybe some of you guys have. I just haven't. Jimmy, thank you. Hassanin Manley. Ron, greetings, salutations. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Time for snow. You're not wrong. We're going to get a lot of snow, I think, this winter. Cynthia, good morning, Henry. Thank you very much. Bo, Server, I believe when you have a guy's number, you have him down no matter how many times you have to whoop him. Okay. Susan, who is our starting secondary this week? That I don't know. I mean, I've offered some speculations to you guys, but it's all guesswork from there. Let's see. Server Hassanin Manley, the NFL is very complex. I am sure they want to teach him as much as possible and give him all the possible reps to practice. Let's go, Ahmed. 100%. All right, guys, it's about that time to bring forth our special guest. You know him. You love him. You cheer him on. You're all buying his Secret Santa gifts, I'm sure. Let's go over to Anthony from Lions Roar UK. Anthony, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, Dan. I've got my morning dew or slightly afternoon dew here. I'm feeling good. Hope you're everyone is feeling good this week.
All right, let's get into it real quick. Lions, they've got a big opportunity this week. I think that we can safely say that. What do you think about this matchup with the Rams?
It'll be one of the toughest games that you play all season, and you know you've got to come across and give it your best thing. This needs to be the best game they've played all season. Coaching wise, you know, you've got to somehow outcoach Sean McVay. Offensively, we've got to have a complete game, you know, because this team can put up 30, 40 with ease. And then defensively, you've got to have, you know, one of your best performances this season. You've got to play like you did against the Eagles, really, and just really lock everything down. So it's going to be tough, but that's what you're in this situation for. You know, if you want to play playoff football, you've got to beat good teams unless you're the Bears. But yeah, you've got to go and beat one of the best teams in the NFC to keep yourself going. It's what you want to be in. These are the type of games you want to be in, and hopefully we can win it.
When you look at the Rams, you know, I think a lot of us agree both teams are going to be able to score some points. Where do you think the Lions can slow down the Rams, though, defensively?
You've got to stop the run game first and foremost. They have. It's not like always the most explosive run game in the world, but it is a good run game, which is always churning out yardage for them. You know, they get good, solid 4, 5, 6 yards all the time. Just give Stafford more time in the pocket, you know, less time to have to throw for him. He's got very established route runners, very dangerous, who can hurt you. You've got to stop the run game first and foremost, and that'll allow you to make plays on the quarterback. There's just too many teams who can't stop them from just freely moving the ball down the field. And then you've just got to be very disciplined in coverage. Again, they've got some superstars on that team, some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, period. And you know, you've got to be able to make plays on them. We've invested a lot in our secondary. We've got injuries in there. That's not going to help. But at the same point, you know, you've got to get on with it. So stopping the run is the key thing here, just to try and bring the wheels off what they do a little bit. And obviously give them as less time on the field as possible. Be efficient offensively yourself. Give them less time. That'll help you a lot as well.
When you look at the Lions, obviously the secondary is in a moment of flex. Some injuries, obviously, here and there. We heard Kirby Joseph return to practice yesterday. Do you think it's possible he comes back this particular game? And if so, just how big is that for this team going down the stretch?
So you got mixed feelings on this because obviously you don't want him to hurt himself anymore. So you don't want him back unless they are absolutely sure he is ready to go. But then at the same point, you're kind of going to need him. You've got no Brian Branch anymore. You've got no Terrion. You've got no Harper. You are down a lot of depth right now. And all the guys in there are doing well right now. We don't come up against many QBs the caliber of Matthew Stafford. He's on an MVP level season, so we're going to need our best guys out there. So you've got to balance it. But I think any scenario where they're leaning more towards him playing, you play him. I think you have to. It's a really big game for us. I know people go around saying, oh, well, we can lose the Rams game and still win out and get in. But, you know, we need to be applying pressure to the Chicago Bears. We're seeing the Chicago Bears are very frail mentally right at this moment in time. They've got the Browns this week. You let them beat the Browns, we lose. Then you've got to catch up 2 games in your last 3, including winning at Soldier Field. You're asking a lot of yourself. So, you know, we need to go in with the mindset of winning this, really putting pressure on them. You know, there's no excuses. Our season is still very much on the line at this point.
Right. When you look at the playoff structure, let's just say the Lions get to 11 wins. Do you think that gets us in?
It depends. It depends what goes on around you. There's all sorts of scenarios. I think yes, because you've got the tiebreaker over the Bears. So I think 11 might be fine, but at the same point, as bad as Minnesota are this year, as much as we've had the Bears number in recent years, you don't want to go into the last 2 weeks needing 2 road NFC North victories. We've seen what the NFC North is. It's a very tough division right now. Anybody can beat anybody, and you know, just the law of averages states that you're probably going to lose one of them. So, you know, it's 11 gets you in, but I don't want this one to be a loss, because I want to see that this team can, you know, do it against the best. Our record is just as questionable as other teams saying schedule-wise. We've lost to some of the better teams this year. We have a couple of wins, but I want to show that we are an NFC North contender, an NFC contender in general, and you can't beat a team the caliber of the Rams, because you're going to have to face them down the line again, probably at some point as well.
When you look at I think many people who are Lions fans or casual observers would say a lot of the season's struggles have come down to the offensive line. Last week, at least after the first quarter, it seemed like the Lions had something going there. We've talked about it lightly in the last few weeks as well. And with some of the play calling, the Lions finally were starting to take deeper shots down the field. How much of that is the development of Ratledge, maybe Glasgow playing better, or should we give some credit towards Miles Frazier?
I mean, it was always going to be it was always going to be a learning process. Anyone who's expecting it to click right away, was misguided in that thought. You're just seeing the development naturally of them now. Ratledge is having a Pro Bowl caliber year at the moment. He's been absolutely fantastic. And, you want to keep him there. You want to keep him going. Obviously, the center position's been a bit funky, but I think we've not appreciated how much this line is hurt. You saw the interview with Decker this week. Decker can barely lift his arms over his shot here. We can barely lift his arms in the air. He's in so much pain. Glasgow, we know, has been dealing with injury for so long. It doesn't help when your left guard who's developing. Like, you've got a development left guard in there in Mahogany. He's now out, and you've had to put another development guy in there, and you've had to put backup guys in. So just as you've kind of gained harmony with Mahogany, you've then had to reset and start it all over from scratch. So you've just not really had the consistency to be able to get it where you want to. But Mahogany's going to be back soon. I would expect him to slot right back in as and when he is back. So when you do have Mahogany and Ratledge at guard again, let Graham do what he's doing, then I think you're going to see it be a lot better. But of course, it was going to take time to develop. When you've got rookies in there and you've got vets playing hurt, it's going to take its time. The most important thing, as long as they are good for the playoffs, no one gives a damn about the regular season and what happens in the regular season. All these bad games we've had, all this, it goes out the window if you go on a run and you play 2 or 3 solid games. That's all you need. So as long as you get there, the line should be fine by then. It'll be fully healthy. So we're going to be in a good spot, I think, on the O-line come the playoffs.
Brad Holmes took maybe a little bit of flack for the trade for Isaac Tesla. And there were a lot of people saying, man, the Lions already have a ton of skill weapons. But with the injuries to Laporta, Brock Wright, now he's had more time to get on the field and make some plays. In your view, how dangerous is this Lions wide receiving core with Tesla, the emergence, especially in the last month, of Jameson Williams, and then St. Brown appears to be back?
Yeah, it's good depth to have. I mean, it was a lot of picks to give up, but if it's the right guy on the team, we're showing now it's starting to pay off a little bit. And again, Tesla was always going to take time to develop into this team. People just had wildly high expectations of him, and then got mad when they weren't met. But you can see how he's bedding into the team. He's really benefiting from having. He seems to work well with JMO. Because when JMO creates a lot of space on the field by taking several defenders away, Tesla's now he's got nuance in his routes to be able to take advantage of that. So I like the way that JMO and Tesla work together. I think that might be the thing that you notice a lot going forward. But you've got good depth. You need it, obviously, not having Laporta and Co in there. So it could be something that helps us again. You've got to look at the trade in 2 or 3 years' time and see what it's about. There's just too many people who go, this is a good trade, this is a bad trade. You've got to give it time. Right now, it could be a good thing for us in a year. It might not be. Who knows? But, Tesla's doing well. He's developing well. That's what we want to see from him.
What do you think about Jameson Williams, though? How much has his impact the last month or two really changed opposing defenses?
I love JMO so much, and it's been great to see this last month. Now all the JMO haters can go and shut up and crawl back under their rocks, and this was always there with him. I think that mini injury to Amon-Ra might have been a blessing in disguise, because it put more focus on JMO. Like, people almost think JMO can't take over a game the way Amon-Ra does and break a thing open, but let's be honest, JMO is the reason we've won some of these last few games. Like, the big playability of him, and it's just everything he does in his all-round game. Like, the dude's the ultimate teammate. He's the ultimate blocker, just like Amon-Ra is. But he's the ultimate buster defense open type guy. But we've seen he can be so much more than that. They get the ball in his hands as much as you can. Good things happen. They're using a lot more on short crosses, intermediate routes, not just the downfield stuff. They're finally using him as the whole package. They're not just using one part of him. Now that they're using all of him, you're seeing just what an impactful player he can be. But, and that's just made this team so much more dangerous. And him and Goff seem to be working well together now that they working in all three phases together and not just lobbing moon balls to him. So, yeah, he is incredibly critical to this team, but I absolutely love him to death. Like, he's one of my favorite players on the team.
When you talk about all those skilled wide receivers, in the last month especially, the Lions have figured out more and more ways to be creative, getting Gibbs the ball as a wide receiver, and you've seen some of his development. You've seen him put some moves on linebackers, secondary personnel. What kind of advantage does he bring to the table for the Detroit Lions offense now that he can play running back, wide receiver, and who knows, maybe some wildcat quarterback in the future?
Again, that's what we've been asking for, right? Having both running backs on the field. You have Monty in the backfield, you have Jameer in the slot, and you have no idea what's going to happen. You can motion him into the backfield, suddenly have him in as a running back. It's creating the mismatches that make life hell for people. And you say, when you've got JMO out there, when you've got Amon-Ra out there, when you've got Tesla out there, the last thing you want to do when you've got your safeties sort of keeping an eye on JMO is be trying to have to drop someone underneath and guard Gibbs. And it's just, this is what I like about what they've done more recently. They're maximizing their weaponage. As I say, they're using JMO in all three phases now. They're using Jameer in both phases as what he can do. And it's just given us so many more options around the field to be able to do what we like and pick poison. And Goff has gotten better over the last few weeks as well, which helps. And obviously the offensive line's settled down. It kind of felt like the offense was running at 70% for a lot of the start of the year. Now it feels like they're moving closer towards 100 because they're maximizing every which way they can use it. And the players in there, but I would happily keep using JMO Gibbs as a receiver as well. Give Monty some more action as well. At the end of the day, you are going to just have to watch Gibbs and monitor his usage. So any situations we can bring Monty in as much as possible and help alleviate that a bit. We just want to make sure we keep Gibbs healthy.
When you look at the Lions secondary, we get it beat up all over the place. The Rams, they've got some big receivers that can cause issues. And to be fair, they're tight ends as well. If you're Kelvin Shepard this week, what are you doing to try to limit their abilities to affect this game?
you're looking 100% to stop this run game. As I said, Kyron Williams, guys like that, they just chain move and they just keep the Rams in favorable situations where it keeps their whole playbook open. So you've got to try and shut down his playbook a little bit, and that all starts with stopping this run game and keeping them back in more third and long situations. Then in the obvious pass rushing situations, you've got to get pressure quick on Stafford, because again, guys like Puka and that, they can get separation quick. They're contested catch guys. The Cowboys were doing a lot of quick throws out the pocket where they would have been a little bit successful against us. You've just got to be aggressive in man coverage on the line, stop passes getting out early, and get to the quarterback as quick as you can. And if Al-Qadim carries on playing the way he is, he seems to have rediscovered his form again. I think we're in a good situation where you can stop them. Most importantly, we have the capability to stop their run. So anything other than that, we have a chance in this game for sure. But yeah, you've got to stop the run first and foremost.
Lions got 4 games to get to the playoffs, maybe get a bit of a seed. If they can get their pass rush going like we saw last week, how big of an impact will that be going down the stretch and in the playoffs? Also, where do you think they go with the rotation? They seem to get rid of the Aleem McNeil as the defensive end. They kind of went back, like you said, to Muhammad. They rotated Davenport, Derek Barnes. Where can this pass rush go?
I mean, it's still got to be consistent. Like a one-game sample against a very young offensive line is fine, but we've seen some instances where we've had like a really good pass rush, and then the next week it's gone to sleep again. We need to see consistency with it. And again, McVay's a master tactician, so if we try and find any weaknesses on that line, he will adapt and try and protect that. So you've got to show that last week isn't a fluke and that you can do it again. And this is much better opposition than the Cowboys. This is the best team in the NFC. So I'm just looking for consistency from them right now. You've got to come out and you've got to do that again and show that the pass rush is legitimate, because if they come out and lay a dud again, then we're asking the same questions going into the last few weeks, and we don't really want to be there, do we? So obviously, if we can get it going regularly, going into the playoffs, it's a great thing for us. I think us sneaking in the playoffs this year will be a great thing. No one will want to play us.
Right.
We've not played our best football yet, but our team is now more battle-hardened. It's played postseason football. It's played tough games. You'd like to think the experience we have against some of the teams that are above us right now will play into our favor. So I think we're incredibly dangerous if we sneak into the playoffs. I don't think anyone wants to play us. But yeah, the pass rush needs consistency.
Last question I got for you, just because I know it's on the minds of Lions fans across this planet. Why hasn't Tom Kennedy been on the roster before the last couple of games?
Sorry, can you just repeat that one, Dan? I cut out a moment.
Yeah. Why wasn't Tom Kennedy on the active roster before the last couple games?
I mean, let's be honest. He's not shown much. I mean, Kennedy's always been around, but that last game is the first big game he's really had where he's made some catches. He's done good on the returns. That's a good game. You've not really had a game before that. I don't think you can say, we go, right, you could definitely put him on the 53. When you've got guys like Raymond on the roster, obviously if Raymond was on the roster now, he probably wouldn't have been last week because of the return stuff. Sawyers has taken a knock, all that sort of stuff. So I think it was just a case of, I'm not saying he's not earned it. It feels cruel because he's been around forever, but you know what I mean? There's not been that standout big performance where you're like, right, okay, you've got to lock him into the 53. That last game, you're like, okay, you're probably worthy of a 53 spot now, obviously, as long as you keep doing that. So, he's just I don't think he works at any other team in the league either. He can't show it away from here to come back and get a spot either. But yeah, he had a great game, and keep him if he keeps doing that.
All right, let's get you out of here. I want to thank you, Anthony, as always, for making time for the Duke Crew and coming on over on the show, giving your expert opinion and wisdom. Why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out and tell everybody where they can find you, support your content, and all you do.
Yeah, you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. So if you want to come and hear your news and views of the Lions from a British perspective, come check us out. We're live Mondays. I talk college ball Wednesdays. If you like college ball, come chat with me there. We're live Thursdays during the games. If you want to come and say hi, I know a few of you do already, so appreciate that. Yeah, Roar of the Lions UK is where you can find us. As always, appreciate you, Dan, and the Duke Crew, and everything you do here. It is absolutely tremendous. And hopefully we get another dub next week and we carry on towards the playoffs because, we deserve it. So, yeah. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your run up to Christmas.
You too, my friend. And hey, enjoy that Mountain Dew, and we will see you gladly next week after the Lions get a epic victory.
See you later. Take care. Bye.
We'll see you, Anthony. All right, guys. Just got a couple minutes. I'm going to power through here and get people on who haven't been on as much. Dennis, people seem to be critical of Brad Holmes for not spending money. How many of our top players have become cap casualties? Question mark. We do have a cap. We do indeed. James, yeah, I'll go with that. Bo, Anthony, the Brit with grit. Woo! I'll take that. Let's see. Johnny Gaz, good morning. Dan and Duku, exclamation point, back at you. Thomas, I believe will only be on the active roster this year if a rash of injuries at defense man. Yeah, that's quite possible. Give the kid a little bit of time to develop. Southwest, if you're scared of the Rams, in out the dang chat. Don't know chicken stuff here, and our team doesn't give a dang about a team that doesn't even get a home crowd. It's going to be more Lions fans there. Yeah, there might be a lot more Lions fans than Rams fans there. Stephen, Coach Dan, you're dead on with your assessment. Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. Respect your opponent. Exclamation point. Yeah, it's just not my nature as a coach or anything else. I don't enjoy backing off. I walk into something. I believe I got a chance to win. Otherwise, why would I be doing it? Silver Server, Johnny Gas, morning, John, and back at you both with an exclamation point. Pat, Detroit will win this game Sunday. Watch how the fake media jumps back on Detroit bandwagon. Shake my head. Ridiculous. It's how the media works, man. The Rebel, the victory over the Rams would shake up the entire NFC standings. Oh, yeah. Yes, it would. Thomas, elbow smash the like, y'all. Thank you for that. Jess, if you want to rate the, quote, deal, the Rams got a Super Bowl. In my book, they won that deal. Why Lions got good players. What do they have to show for it? 2 division titles, not even close. Yeah, I can get you there. I would say, though, it exponentially helped turn the Lions franchise around. Let's see, Lauren Lyons, good morning, Professor Steele. What up, Doe? Exclamation point. Let's see, Joseph, Lions will play volleyball like they did a couple years ago. Quit messing around and hand the ball to Monty. We'll see if they do. Just even Gibbs needs an offensive line to block. Yes, that is correct. James thinks Stafford is going to start throwing right away. Maybe. Bo, you can write your book any way you'd like. Doesn't mean anyone is buying it. That is correct. Pat, Rams trade for one player, Stafford, because the team was loaded already. This is true. They were in the Super Bowl with Goff, and we get it. It was a close game. Detroit had to build from the ground up. Very good point there. Trade spots were totally different. Correct with that. Mary, good morning, Professor Steele. How are you feeling better today? Let's see, Service. Southwest, I don't think about the fans. In fact, I noticed in the Chargers game in L.A., all you could hear were Eagles fans. Might be accurate. It is a different world out there for those who don't know. Kerry, called Broski on 3 shows. Called Broski on 3 shows and didn't magically appear. Hey, it happens. The Chris, hopefully the 9-10 rest will 9 to 10 day rest. We'll get some players back. Hopefully so. Pat can't hand the ball to Monty all games. Sorry to say that. Jess, I so want to beat the Rams, but they have a top 5 offense and top 5 defense. We cannot beat ourselves and give them short fields, any extra possessions. I agree, 100%. Sellers, they lost to the dang Panthers. I don't see them unstoppable. Skip the Rams once again. Broski Bear, Pat, Rams won the trade by far. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, they already rebuilt since then and are top contenders again. And Stafford is the top MVP candidate. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on it. My opinion is, without this trade, the Lions, it's not that they couldn't have turned things around, but I think it would have been a vastly longer haul to do so. That's just my opinion. So here's what I'll say. It probably worked for both teams. Rams had already been in the Super Bowl, I want to say 2 years prior. They had a lot of talent. And then they made additional trades that often isn't talked about with this trade. It wasn't just for Stafford they got. They went and got Von Miller. They got, the cornerback Jalen Ramsey, amongst others. And that sometimes gets lost in the wash of this trade. JK, Lions versus Rams again will determine who had the better trade, maybe. Joseph, the Lions will play bully ball. I like it. Thomas, with Arnold, Branch, Kirby out, if Stafford gets like we have been giving up 4 plus seconds to throw, big trouble. Agreed. Pat, run the ball. Sonic and Knuckles should get 18 runs apiece. Keep Stafford on the sideline. That would work. Bo, Stafford is a 1 back sprain away from retirement. Might be true. The Rebel don't want rush Kirby back, but His return will be huge. It will be. And, if they're going to put him back on the field, it's because they believe he's healthy enough to be back out there. Thomas, we must run the ball and keep play away. Let's see if we can. All right, guys, I'm going to start powering through just because I'm real tired this morning. Try to get people on who haven't been on as much. Let's see, Dennis. Yes, 313. I agree. Exclamation point. Just Rams are not invincible, but our weakness are their strengths. It does not bode well for the Lions on the road. We'll find out if we can change that foreboding. How about that? Eddie, I would like to see the Lions go 12-5, make it easier into the playoffs. That would be great, wouldn't it? The Rebel, the Lions are going to have to start taking some shots downfield. We saw some of that last week. I believe a lot of that, the Rebel, just my opinion, is the line held up enough where Goff had time to throw comfortably. James, I'm interested in Frazier. Me too, my friend. Thomas, Tayway can't do that until he comes back and proves he's healthy. Let's hope he does. Bo, Thomas, what makes you think the Browns would have done that deal? That's true. Again, Cowboys fans hiding flags, breaking TVs part. That might be true. Let's see, Pat Broskeberry, your opinion isn't law. Sorry to inform you. Exclamation point, you're a Bears fan, so delusional is okay. We'll go with that. String theory 313 is an area code. I agree with that. Tayway. Or trade Sam Laporta for a first-round pick, put Tesla at tight end. Wonder if they will. Jess, I expect Goff to get hit a lot. Lions unable to run the ball, fall behind early, and fall woefully short. Hoping for no further injuries. Can't afford them. Who else? We start watching the draft. Okay, Silver Server. Tesla, great pick. Exclamation point. Semi-freak with golden hands. I agree with you. I like the pick. I know we gave up a lot, but there's no guarantee those picks would have been something more impactful. You went for somebody you thought would be an impact player. That's how I view it. We always talk about, man, why doesn't Brad Holmes say skip them picks? Then he says skip them picks and goes and gets a guy, and everybody's like, man, why do we do that? We could have got something else. Hey, everybody's a sideline quarterback and GM. It happens, so. Thomas Bobo, you try right? Question mark. I'm not saying that Browns would accept it, but I am saying I would have offered it. Maybe they did offer it. Jess, draft order. Hookadoo. Bo, they would never have done that deal. Okay, I'll take that one off the board. Dre Day, a lot of W downers. Again, like with the Cowboys game, some people just need to be Bears fans if they can't believe in their team. All right, let's see, Southwest. You people are talking about our rookie wide out like he played all season, but catch a TD every time he steps on the field. What the heck have y'all been watching? That's a question. Pat, put Tesla at tight end and trade Laporta. Okay, I go to the silly comments. They are coming in. All right, Tayway. J-Mo better than St. Brown. Carey, will Caleb complete the deep pass on the rematch, or will it be the same old quarterback when it counts? We'll find out in time. Joseph, the Panthers ran all over the Rams. They did. They did indeed. JK, agree with you. J-Mo bombs and to keep up to a 2-score ahead game. Let's see if we can keep it 2 scores ahead. Hey, more, I can't tag on my phone also, or iPad, excuse me. Southwest, I see a rookie of ours scored on the Cowgirls. He actually played. He did indeed. Radar, we need to stop dissing Brad Holmes. If he worked for any other team, y'all would want him. Could be a lot of facts right there, my friend. Joseph, Panthers ran the ball on the Rams. I think we can all agree on that. It's Dre Day. J-Mo's still trying to learn routes, and St. Brown forgot J-Mo is not on St. Brown's level. Pat, Eagles fans are dissing Howie's Roman now for fans gonna fan. Yeah, people turn on you super quick, man. You can be the greatest coach, GM ever. As soon as you lose a game, everybody turns on you. It's the nature of the beast. Dennis, I agree. Rad Roofer. Verno, good morning, Coach Dan Ducru. Coach, any news on Laporta return? Now that would be a huge problem for teams to deal. I have not heard anything about it. My guess is, for what it's worth, he's not coming back this year. Pat, give Goff 2.5 seconds and he'll win this game. I think you're right with that. All right, looking for a few more that haven't been on here as much. Anyway, double Puka, they might have to. The Rebel, J. Lowe was getting that thing go against the Bears, and Caleb too, for that matter. All right, Joseph, I blame Brad for your expectations. Southwest, new OC in DC, we played like a great game, bad game, never got blew out and lost some close games, rolling now 1-0 in December. All that matters. Correct. You win out December, you're going to be in the playoffs. Extreme Shaft, we thought they took care of that back in 1776. Maybe they did. Bo Hutch has not been here for 5 years. He has not. This is correct. Jess, Laporta won't be coming back. It is a back surgery. There is a chance that he may not be the same player, and if he comes back. The only thing I can say is everything that, MCDC and others have said, it sounds like he's expected to make a full recovery, but you never know, though, right? Anyway, Hutch in coverage. Ron, just call me Ron L. Okay, we'll call you Ron L. 81, guys, we got this. I like the way you're thinking. 2021, anyone know who's going to be with linebacker Cunningham? I don't know. What's going on? I don't know. Let's see. Tayway, trade Laporta. Dennis, I have watched us lose over 40 years. I am really enjoying the current team and office. How quickly some forget. This is true. Never forget, I would say. No, the Dynamite. Those 3 sacks mean nothing if he can't stay consistent. I'm still drafting a defensive end. They might do that this offseason. We'll have to wait and see. All right, a couple more, and then we're out of here. Bo, I can agree on that. Run the dang ball. Jimmy, Detroit has more weapons on offense than any other team in the league. Right now, we just don't have an offensive coordinator who can put it all together and maximize the talent on the offensive line right now. Okay? Let's see. Southwest, Ali McNeil at defensive end was trash. Put him where he belongs in that middle. Let Muhammad cause heck on the edge, getting 3 sacks. McNeil had 0. This is accurate. JK SOS. All right, we'll put up the SOS. Rad River, hands-on, 81. I've been watching since the 80s, and I've never been more happier than now. Yeah, the 90s had some good runs, but that was probably about it. And then 2014 and 15. Let's see, Thomas Laporta may look how long it took Levi to come back healthy. 5 back surgeries. I'm afraid for his future. Yeah, but the one thing I would say with Levi, it was a different back injury than what Laporta has. So, all right, so we're looking forward to Sunday Night Football. I agree with that. Let's see, Big M. I hope I am wrong, but I don't see Laporta or Wright coming back from those injuries, significant injuries. We'll see what shakes out. 81, you crazy? Hey, sometimes I get a little crazy. Hookadoo. Kerry, Chicago is going to get their butts kicked. Okay, Laporta is replaceable. We'll find out. Martin's TK85, totally underrated, and I am showered promise before. Okay. Pat, Levi, and Laporta injury is totally different. Yeah, I would agree with that. Broski, good point. The same with Wright. His career might be in jeopardy with his current injury. We'll find out. Every player gets an injury, their career's in jeopardy to a certain degree, unless it's like a fingernail or something like that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on up. Like I said, I'm dog tired. Got to get ready for work too. So if there is breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all. All right. If I can get it to play. How about that? All right. Well.
Excuse me, sir. Would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? How Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?